Hey, it's Brock here from Rock Hill Farms, and today we're going to dig some French drain lines. I've been working for a while now to get all the rain that falls on the top half of this property to drain down into the pond. I've got some swales already, and I'm going to add 2 more sets of drain lines. We're going to do at least one of those today. It's the first week in November and this ground just isn't drying, so we're just going to have to dig in wet ground. I've already used the transit level to establish that we have a really nice slope, I don't know, about 4 foot higher at the end of this 200-foot run. So that'll give us a real nice drop. Having that nice drop means I don't have to worry as much about checking grade down in the trench. As long as I'm digging about the same depth the whole time, it's going to maintain a grade. Then we'll fill the trench back in with landscape fabric, 4-inch corrugated pipe, the air line for the pond aeration system, and some clean rock, and get it all covered back over. I'm excited to be out here digging on this beautiful morning. While planning this project, this has been my biggest concern. I've taken 3 scoops and the bucket's completely packed full and it won't release. That's going to be a pain. You've got 2 choices. You can either constantly be digging mud out of the bucket, or you can just dig with a muddy bucket and it'll still pull up a shovel full, but you're just not going to get that much. I would say that's the easiest method I've found so far. I took this thick piece of rebar and I was able to easily poke it in right here and then twist it down. Gave me a lot of leverage and cleaned out pretty easy. I found that if I don't fully pack the bucket, it doesn't stick as bad. I don't know if that slows you down more or less than actually stopping and cleaning it out. So I've probably dug about 30 foot of trench. It's going pretty smooth. It's a little bit annoying that the bucket's constantly caked up, but not the worst thing that could happen. My only thing in my mind right now I'm trying to decide is how to terminate the drain line at the pond. I started digging right at the bank of the pond, and I dug a trench 2 foot deep. Now if I just lay my line in there and then the pond fills up, the water level will be about 2 feet higher or 1.5 feet higher than the inlet or the outlet of my drain line. And I don't know if that's a problem or not. I guess all that would happen if the pond fills up is the first 15 or 20 foot of the drain line will have water in it. The alternative is to try to gradually raise the level of that pipe as it gets down to the end. And I think I've got enough elevation to make that happen, but I just don't know if it's worth it. So leave me a comment. Tell me what you think I should do with the end of the drain line. We'll see how it goes. I don't know how well you can see, but I stopped for about an hour, went and got something to eat and answered some phone calls, and I came back. The trench is full of water. I was kind of disappointed because that makes it harder to work. Then it dawned on me that if this trench didn't fill with water, then I'm wasting my time. The idea here is that water from surrounding areas will migrate towards a path of least resistance, which right now, that is this trench. Whenever I dug it, there was no water here. But there's water at the same height somewhere near here, and it's working over. And that's what's supposed to happen once the pipe is in the trench. But it also tells me that I'm a little bit deeper here than here, and I dug a little deeper as I went, so I need to fix that when I'm done.
The city life and the crazy nights. Figure I should probably give it a try. Maybe check it out, see what it's all about. But the traffic was fast and the money was slow. The people I met you never get to know. I kinda miss this place I used to live back home. 'Cause up here it's breakneck, paycheck, rat race. What's next? I'm tired of feeling like a small fish in a big pond. I think I'll go back where I came from, where everybody knows my name. My friends are still the same. I guess the slow life hit me just right, like a bonfire on a cold night. Hell, and you can keep your 9 to 5, happy with the simple life. Yeah, I ain't here to try to change your mind, I'm trying to save your time.
All right, I've went way too far with eyeballing this. I should have had the transit out hours ago. I thought I was just gonna maintain a grade comparable to the slope of the ground, and I didn't really accomplish that. So I need to know if I'm actually sloping down at all. So I think what I'm gonna do is set my grade stick to the bottom of that hole and bring it up this way, and hopefully I'm lifting it up as I come down. All right, come on, spin for daddy. You know you want to. You know you want to. It's making noise, but it's not spinning like it should be. I've never had a problem with this before. There we go. Make sure this is gonna read. All right. So the bottom of the trench down there is set to the bottom of the stick, and down here, the bottom of the stick to be level is about 8 inches above ground level. The hole is 2 foot deep at that end, and that is level with 8 inches above ground level here. So we have 2 feet 8 inches of drop and about 80 foot of run. So that's a pretty good slope. It's a lot better than I thought. My only concern now is that in the first 30 feet, I may not be dropping. But when we're ready to actually put the pipe in, that's when I'll do more of a fine-tune grading. But right now, we know that we have a pretty substantial drop from that end to this end. All right, so I'm about to run out of light, but I came down here to check the trench and see what was happening. And I had a nice steady stream of water running into the pond already. Ideally, I'd work in a dry trench tomorrow. But right now, this is proof of concept to me, because when I dug to this depth, there was no water in this hole. The ground was actually fairly dry, but water has leached over to it, groundwater. And water's always looking for a void, and this is a void it's running down. And the drain pipe we're putting in will also be a void. So if it's draining right now, it should drain all the time when we're done. Earlier in the day, I was a little bit bummed out with my progress, but now I've got these little pools of water, and as I break out these dams, and then the water just starts rushing down, puts me in a good mood because I know this is gonna work. Oh, I'm about a third of the way down the trench, and reaching down there and lifting this out is wearing me out. See that water take off when I remove the blockage? Right now, this is kind of adding mud where it enters the pond because this is all fresh dug and loose dirt. But once this groundwater is seeping into this trench the same way, but it has to go through that crushed rock or that clean rock that I have and into the pipe, it should come out a lot cleaner. It's better to get your pond water from a drain like this than one of the swales I've dug, because this water's filtered through the ground, not just running across the top. I can't help but feel like this is a little bit of a failure. The trench is exactly what I wanted it to be. It's gonna do the job. But I got up this morning with the intention of digging this trench, getting the pipe in it, covering it back over. All I did was dig the trench, which is about half the work. But it is gonna do the job, but I wanted to be on to another project up there. I've got 3 days for my building to be here, and I want to be completely ready when they deliver it so it can start going up the next day. If you look right here, the bucket is packed completely full. I dug with it like that most of the day, and you'd be surprised how well it does, because it pulls up a mass of dirt that sticks out both sides and pinches in between here, and you're still able to get a big scoop even with your bucket caked full like that. The first 40 feet of the trench, I was emptying out that bucket with the rebar every time I got off, and just wasn't a productive way to spend my day digging that bucket out all day. Anyway, I appreciate you taking time to watch this video. You'll see a couple more of our videos on the screen right here, and I'll see you next time.